All right, hi there, good evening. I'm going to start the class, all right? I'm going to see perhaps if you sent a message. We're going to continue working together, and we have to start a new course that, again, is going to be part of a new model on Pearson, and we are going to be also in a different course on Google Classroom because we have different presentations, and we're going to have also a new file to edit as part of this new course. Okay, so again, let me check in case you sent a message. And just in case I'm going to write, okay, I'm going to text you to let you know that we are starting the class. Okay, no, you're here. So there's no need. I was just sending a message. So then let's work, please, Gladys. I was about to send a message because I told you, right, that perhaps we were going to have a different person here, but you're here now. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is okay. I'm just gonna turn on my camera in just a second.
Great, don't worry. Very good. So, Gladys, today we have to start with the new course. This is going to be A11, and you'll have one more with me, right? If you're going to be together, or we are going to be together, it's going to be this one, A11, and the following one that is A12. And then after that, you should go directly to the preparation course. So we have to take advantage of these classes that we have. All right, it's not a lot, actually. It's very, very fast. That's why also, Gladys, it's very, very important for you to work on Pearson. All right, so I have to do that. I'm going to sign in. Give me a second. All right, now it's loading. Now, again, I'm waiting because it's important that we can work on Pearson, Gladys. I reassigned well, all the units. I mean, I reassigned the entire model because I believe that you were not able to work, right, on any of those assignments. It is a lot. And look, I reassigned it until you have until Sunday, 11:59 p.m. But again, in case you need more time, you really need to contact management because I cannot give more time, even if this is a new course. And to be in this new course, we need to have all the scores from your previous course, right? That it was A10. And we don't have the scores, right? Because you were not able to complete the assignments, and we're supposed to start today. So we're going to start today, and please, we are going to be counting on you finishing everything this weekend. All right, you should be able to finish everything this weekend to have the scores for A10 because management is going to ask me for those scores for you to continue to A11. And well, that's going to be a requirement. All right, so please, it's very important to finish everything. I mean, the entire model. It's a lot, right? That's why it was very important to try to divide the activities. I know that you were sick, but now let's try to do it on the weekend. And in this new course, also we have to try to do it in that way. Let me open this one. I'm going to continue telling you some things. All right, it's loading again. And again, if not, it's going to be very difficult because again, they usually ask me for the scores at least 1 or 2 days after the class or the course is done. I mean, we finished yesterday. I should be sending the scores today or tomorrow, but again, I am going to do it next week. So once again, I already reassigned everything, but also today I have to assign the next model, and that's going to be again a very interesting or big amount or number of assignments, and it's going to be really hard to cover all those assignments. All right, so let's take a look at the calendar. Remember that we have 8 days per model, right? If you take a look at this, we're starting Friday. This is the first day. So for this second course, for these next 4 units, you have Friday, right? That's one. You have Monday, you have Tuesday, you have Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 5. Then you have Friday once again. Then you have Monday, and then you have Tuesday. All right. So we have until Tuesday of the following week, Tuesday the 16th, to finish everything in not of this course that finished, but of this new course that is starting today. All right, I'm going to assign now that one. In the meantime, please let me know if you have questions, because again, if we cannot finish for next week, it is going to be hard to continue because I need to send those scores and you need to contact management. So please let me know if you have any questions or comments as I'm assigning the next part for you, Gladys. Let me know, please.
Not really. So I just need to do it right until Sunday.
Yes, it's important to finish this weekend the entire model, right? It's going to be hard because actually working that in 2 days is going to take you a lot of time, but it's the only option now, okay? Because you have to complete all the assignments, you have to complete 3 quizzes, and you have to complete one final test, right? But again, it's the only option at least to continue working. But once again, if it's going to be a special requirement, Gladys, to perhaps ask for more time, you have to let management know, because the maximum I can give you is until Sunday. But more days today to that is something special because I also need permission, because I need to send the scores. All right. And if I don't
Oh,
send the scores, also, well, it's they are not going to let me continue with the next course. All right. So just that one. In case again you have any questions, but I think you told me, right? You're going to work on that over the weekend. Just see again if it's going to be possible. Do it. If you need more time, again, it's important to contact management. Just that one. In the meantime, as you're thinking perhaps of some questions or comments that you have, I am going to assign the next model that we start today. And this is A11, okay? Model B. And as you can see here, we have one more time, 4 more units. And again, we have to cover everything in 8 days, but not right consecutive days, just eight weekdays and the business days, right? The work days that we have our classes. So again, I'm going to be assigning. Please let me know any comments.
no, I don't have any comments. I'm just gonna working on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. So as I'm actually then assigning, I'm going to start working on some questions related to the first elements that we are going to see. All right, so we're going to see future again. We got to see a little bit about future. I don't know what you remember about that tense, Gladys. What do you remember about future in English, and what are the structures that you use to express future ideas?
For future, I just know that we use will or going to sometimes.
Good. In what cases do we use will, and in what cases do we use will? What's the difference between those two?
I remember that you told me, um, the will. Okay, let me see.
Anything that you remember is okay. It doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah. Let me check my notes.
Okay, yes, no worries.
Okay. So you say the will is for future facts, like desires as at the moment of speaking, promises, and when you don't have evidence. But going to is when you have evidence, right?
Perfect. Yes, that's great. That's precise. Good. Will, predictions without evidence, will, right? When you don't have evidence, will. decisions made, right? Instead of desires, like decisions, right? Desires, sorry, made at the moment of speaking, decisions. Future facts, that's perfect. When you want to work on promises, refusals, requests, and orders. And be going to, you said very well, when you have evidence and also future plans, right? In all those cases, we use will and be going to. So let's try to practice. What is something that you can tell me in the future? A prediction, please, Gladys. Give me a prediction in the future that is based on your opinion, only on your opinion, not on evidence.
Mm, tomorrow will rain.
Okay, yes, that can be an opinion. If you're not using any type of evidence to say that, it is your opinion or your belief, right? Great. What about with evidence? Give me an idea about the future, a prediction about the future using evidence, and then you need to use be going to in that case. So, what would you say?
Um, I'm going to attend to the meeting or to the wedding because I'm the bridal shower.
All right, and that I ask you there, it's good, but is that a prediction or is that like a plan that you had? Because remember, if it's a prediction, it's something that actually is not going to include you there. You're not going to be involved there, not directly, right? But actually, if you tell me that, it was your decision, right? So it's not a prediction, it's actually
Yeah.
part of a plan that you have, right? So that is correct, but that is a plan. What about a prediction? A prediction has to be about something external to you that over which you don't have any control, but you have evidence that is making you say, okay, it is going to be because of that, because I have this evidence, right? So with that logic, what prediction with evidence can you tell?
Um, uh, predictions. Um,
Yes. And it's similar to what you said, right? For example, it will rain. That's prediction, but only prediction based on your opinion because you're
mhm.
not using evidence, right? But I can say, for example, look, I can say this. Again, John Biden will win or is going to, in this case, it's with evidence. John Biden is going to win the elections because they showed, right, the results of the polls, and more than 80% of Americans are going to vote for Biden. Okay, so I'm using evidence, that is the polls, the statistics, that is not going to make that 100% sure, all right? But I'm showing evidence that what I'm saying for that future has some supporting ideas or some facts that, again, support what I'm saying. So, with that
Mhm.
logic, any type of prediction about someone winning elections, about the weather, about someone else's future, about someone else's decisions, anything that you cannot control, but you have evidence to say something about it. What could
Um,
it be?
um, mhm. With I'm going to, right?
Yes, with be going to, not necessarily I'm going to. Remember, you have to talk about someone else. So my friend is going to, the president is going to, or the elections are going to. Yes, be going to, but with any subject, and it has to be related to something external to you in many cases.
Okay. She's gonna fail the exam, or she's gonna probably fail the exam.
Good. And what evidence do you have to say that? Remember, if you say that with be going to, you need to have evidence, something that you see, that you hear, that makes you say that. If not, you have to say she will fail the test, right? If you don't have evidence. But if you have evidence, you can say she will fail. she is going to fail the test. So again, remember, we're just practicing. So what can the evidence be for you to say that, Gladys? What were you able to see? What were you able to hear to say that she is going to fail the test?
Because she's not studying.
Okay, yes. You can say that you had a conversation with her. You know that she didn't study, right, a single topic for that exam, and that very likely she is going to fail, right? Great. Good. All right. Again, we're just practicing because the future is reviewing as part of this first unit. Then what about no, you have predictions with evidence, without evidence. Now, what about a decision made at the moment of speaking? You already gave me an example for a plan, Gladys, and it was good, right? I'm going to be this right in this event. But what about a decision that is not a plan, but is a decision that you quickly, all right, made as you were having a conversation with someone and you end up saying something like, okay, yes, I will go to that party. All right. And that's not a plan. That's just a decision, something in the future that you will do because you decided that at that specific moment. So give me, please, Gladys, one context and try to justify why you would use will in that decision. Any example, like the one that I told you, you are having a conversation with your friend, you didn't have any plans, but he convinces you, right, to go to a party, and you end up saying, okay, I will go to the party. Okay, that's an example. What example can you give me in that case?
It should be with will, you said? Sorry.
All right, what part didn't you listen, Gladys?
I didn't listen at what example I need to do.
Okay, it's in a simple way, it's a decision about, oh, sorry, an example about deciding something at the moment of speaking, and you have to use will.
Okay. Um, uh, um, I will, or um, I will go to. I don't know.
All right, you can use the example that I told you. All right, again, it's very important to perhaps pay attention to those details because you can use that as part of your response. For example, one more time, I'm going to give you one example and you give me one similar. Again, this is just in order to remember. So
Mhm.
you are walking in the street, you run into a friend, you didn't have any plans, but your friend tells you about a party. You don't want to go, but your friend convinces you to go. And you say at the end, okay, I will go to the party. That's a decision made at the moment of speaking. It was not your plan, it was a decision that you made at that exact moment, all right, in the street with your friend convincing you to go. So, with that logic, a similar example, something that you decide at the moment of speaking that you can say will. What could it be?
I will go and eat first.
Okay, one more time, please. And remember, try to explain the context to understand why it is a decision made at that moment.
Oh, I was trying to say like the same context that you told me, but in that case, I would say like, okay, I will go, but I will I will eat first.
All right, yes, that's valid. You are correct. are saying something that you will do just because it was decided at that specific moment. Okay, so good. Now, that is future Gladys. We're going to go to that lesson. That's the third lesson of this first unit. Okay, but this is the first one. I wanted to review a little bit about future because it's important to remember those rules. But now let's take a look at this new presentation and new topic, causative verbs. This is kind of new. This is very important because it's very common. So let's read, please, Gladys. Let's read the introduction for causative verbs.
It said causative verbs are verbs that express that a person causes another person to do something.
Great, right? So you're talking about orders, you're talking about making again, right? Someone else do something for you. That's the idea behind causative verbs. These are the five main ones. You have make, have, get. Actually, those are the three causative verbs. Then let, help are also part of the group, but they have like different meaning to make, have, and get. So let's remember, make is the strongest obligation, force, require. Okay, when you oblige someone do something for you, when you force someone, when you require as part of laboring, all right, then have require also, but give responsibility. This is not as strong as make. Get is in the middle because it's convincing someone, persuading someone. Then let and help is just when you give permission or you give aid, right? That's why it's a little bit different to the first three. Let's start with make to understand causative verbs. Please, I need you to read all the information here, Gladys. Make.
It said make, meaning force or require someone to do something. Structure, subject, make, person or group, verb, base form. Then examples is they make students complete the assignments. His mother made him eat the vegetables. The professor made the class take the exam today.
Great, thank you. Right? If you analyze, the logic is very simple. Someone makes someone else do something. And here we use the base verb, right? They make students complete the assignments. His mother made him eat the vegetables. The professor made the class take the exam today. And this can be in any tense, right? I'm going to give examples, please, Gladys, and then you give me your own examples. But actually, we are going to write those examples in the new, um, let me put that here, the new platform or the new course that we have. And I was forgetting that. In the chat, you can find the link to join the new course on Google Classroom. Okay, this is A11. In this new course, you have the new presentations plus the new file that we are going to use for this new course. All right, so it is empty. We can start working with this specific file. So this is what I'm going to share also, Gladys. So the first link is for you to join the new course. And the second link that you are going to see in a couple of seconds is to, well, to go to this new file and write the examples. Okay, so please pay attention, Gladys, because your examples are going to follow this logic and you have to write them over here. Okay, so you have make. To use make, let me, all right, good. To use make, you need what? You need a context of forcing, requiring, obliging, all right? Someone do something. So remember that it can be in present, present, past, and future. And we are going to write 4 examples. And I'm going to give you examples myself now. The first, in present, right? You can say, I always make my son, all right, or my nephew, I always make my nephew help me with the housework. Okay, I always make my nephew help me with the housework. That's one example in present. In past, right? I don't know, John or Gladys, right? Gladys, it can be made. Yes, let's use the simple past. Gladys made her, I don't know, right? Her cousin and the base verb. So Gladys made her cousin send her, okay, send her the pictures. Gladys made her cousin send her the pictures, okay? Not infinitive, not to send, base verb, send. Future, they will make their neighbors, what could it be? They will make their neighbors, um, all right, pay for the damage. All right, that's my example. They will make the neighbors pay for the damage. And finally, this is number 4, present perfect. Okay, and you can say she has made her boyfriend. All right, let's say that it was an obligation, forcing. All right, she has made her boyfriend do, or yes, no, go to the doctor with her. She has made her boyfriend go to the doctor with her. Okay, so those were the 4 examples, please, Gladys. With that logic, go to the document and do the same, please. Write 4 ideas, one in present, one in past, one in future, and one in present perfect, using make as the causative verb and changing, of course, the verbs, changing the objects to give me ideas. Let's do it, please. And it is right 8:48, so 8:53 more or less. We're going to be checking your examples. If you finish before, let me know. Okay, let's do it, please, guys.
Uh, did you write in the classwork or where I need to do it?
Yes, if you take a look at the chat, Gladys, as I told you, the first link is to join the new course, and the second link is to go to the file. And you have to go to the file, please, and you have to write the examples over there in the first chart, right? It's a new file, so write it in the first part, please. I believe that then we're officially starting. So one more time, please. It's 53. We are going to start taking a look at your examples and we see how it went, right? So we check.
Before. Sorry, you said just with make?
Yes, that's correct. Only with make, please. In the 4 tenses that we said.
Okay. Mm, but okay, no, no worry.
Remember that you can use the four examples that I gave you as a model, and you know that you have to conjugate make, right? So if it's in present, it has to be in present. If it's in past, it has to be in the simple past. If it's in the present perfect, because the fourth one is in the present perfect, it has to be in the past participle, right? So the verb can change according to the conjugation that you need, as I showed you in the four examples.
They may.
All right, so we're going to see how it is going. We're going to finish together in case you didn't finish. All right. I'm going there. Great. Let's read those three examples, please.
Said we made people help us with the car.
Very good. That's one, and it's in past, right? Very good. The next one, please. The
I
one
would
that is in
make.
future.
I will make them decide to travel.
Okay, that's future. And the last one, please, that has to be in present, I believe. But remember that in present you have to use the rules for present, right? Then it will be his father. It will be makes, but you have to decide if this is simple present, if this is present continuous. It's up to you. If it's simple present, you need the rule of the third person, right? Makes. If it's present continuous, then it's making, right? It depends. Both can work in this case. So how would it be, guys?
It would be the father make her decide to go to college.
Okay, but once again, if you say make, it's going to be incorrect because the father is singular, right? So you say makes,
The father makes
right?
her.
It has to be. If not, make is incorrect. You can then make this in past once again. But my recommendation is that you can use present perfect. How do you change this to present perfect, Gladys? Remember, you need two things in the present perfect. One auxiliary and the verb in the past participle.
He had
How would it
made.
be?
He had made.
Close, remember, but not had because that's past perfect. The only ones that we learned are has
Has.
or have. Exactly. In this case, has and the past participle of make, made, right? his father has made her decide to go to college, right? And it's good. In the three cases, you are doing this correct. Why? Because you have the positive verb, you have the object, and you have the verb in the base verb. Also here, you have the verb in future, you have the object, all right? But we need one more, so we're going to do that, please. And you have the verb. Now here, we're repeating the verb, but it's okay. We're going to write one more, and we cannot repeat in this fourth one. So here you have the verb in the present perfect, here, that is the object, and you have the side one more time, that is the base verb. Okay, so we're good so far. Now let's write, please, a fourth one, Gladys. You have simple past, good. You have simple future, great. You have present perfect, good. And we only are missing one. And it has to be simple present or present continuous. It's up to you. So what can you write, Gladys? Okay, think a little bit and write that example and we check. How could it be? Or what could it be?
I'm going to. Um, going to. Okay, in present continuous. Oh, that's not present continuous,
Yes,
right? That's
yes,
future.
the sentence is good, but you have to use make, right? Remember that you
Oh,
have to use make.
I'm going
If you
to.
use the simple present, it has to be with me. Huh? But that's future, exactly as you're saying. That is future. I am going to make is future. The two options that you have is say I make, she makes, he makes, or we are making, I am making. All right, so that can be simple present or a present continuous.
Okay.
All
I
right, but that's good. But remember, it's also good, but that's not causative verb. Why? Because remember, to use causative verb, you need make, you need an object, and you need another verb because you are forcing another person do something for you. Good. And we're missing only one verb. Lunch can be a verb, but not commonly in the US. Perhaps in England, sometimes lunch can be a verb.
making
What
the
verb can you use with lunch?
food. No food. Verb.
What do you do with lunch? What is the action with lunch?
Eat.
You can
Cooking.
eat, you can prepare, you can cook, you can make exactly any of those actions we need before lunch because that's the action that you are making them do. And you can
Them.
keep lunch
But where I need to put prepare.
there. Look, the order is always the same. Make, object, verb. Make, object, verb. Make, object, verb. And here the same. This
Making
is
them
make.
prepare lunch.
You have the object, and then you need the verb. Exactly. Huh? That has to be the order. To talk about forcing, again, to talk about an obligation to someone from your part, it has to be like this. Okay, so I can say, I am making you write sentences, or they will make us go to the meeting, right? It's always going to have that order. All right, that's why we call them causative verbs, because we are causing someone do something for us. All right, this is the first one. I don't know if you have a questions, but the idea here, again, you always tell me that it helps, right? Is Very simple. For example, the first one would be, no, it would be like this. Okay, that's the first idea, right? You have it over there. So again, it's just making someone do something, right? So in the four cases, it is correct. Remember that this is the strongest of the causative verbs that we have. Now, in the next case, look, that it is going to be have is exactly the same. Here, you don't have to translate a have, Gladys, because the meaning is not possession. Here, have means make, all right, but is less strong than make. But you can use it in the exact same situations. Here, for example, you can say, we had people help us with the car. The meaning is the same. All right, you can use this translation. It's the same translation if you want, Gladys, but actually it doesn't have a translation. It's only very special for English, and we don't have that in Spanish. Then, I will have them decide to travel. His father has had her decide to go to college, and I am having them prepare lunch for tomorrow. All right, so again, have in this case, it has the same meaning as make, but you use have in professional context when you have responsibilities or when you are paying a professional to get a service. All right, so with that logic, please, Gladys, let's read the three examples that we have for had or have in this case.
Actually, we had a painter paint our apartment. Mary always has a hairdresser do her hair. Paul will have a mechanic fix his car.
Great, thank you. Now, if you analyze, Gladys, you again have the same formula. Have, and it has to be conjugated, object, verb in the base form, right? Have, object, the verb in the base form, and have plus object plus verb in the base form. If you say we had a painter to paint, is incorrect. If you say we had a painter painting, is also incorrect. All right, the rule here, the grammatical rule says that we have to say we had a painter paint, a hairdresser do, a mechanic fix. All right, in all cases with make and with have, we have to use the base verb. All right, so one more time. What is the difference then, Gladys? That make is for obligation, but not obligation because I'm paying you, but obligation because it's your responsibility in the sense of, for example, uh, parents and children relationship, right? The parents are not paying their children to do something, right? But they have to do it because it's an obligation. So make is obligation. But here you are paying someone, all right? You are paying a painter, you are paying a hairdresser, you are paying a mechanic, all right? So that that person gives you a service. And in this case, you use have, all right? And again, if you translate, there's not going to be a specific translation. The closest that you can get, Gladys, is the same translation as make. All right, but it's used once again in a different context, in a professional context. So, with that said, let's write over there, please, Gladys. One more time, examples. And I'm going to give you once again a couple of ideas, or again, for example, remember, present, past, future, and present perfect. So you can say, I always have, I don't know, I always have, what could it be? and profession. All right, the driver, I always have the driver take me, I don't know, to the theater. I always have the driver take me to the theater. That's present. Then in past, right? She had, I don't know, she had, who could it be or what could it be? She had an architect, all right? She had an architect design her apartment. Okay, she had an architect design her apartment. And one more, future, but again, you have to write one extra that is going to be in the present perfect. But in future could be they will have, again, let's look for another profession. Okay, they will have, I don't know, a cook. All right, they will have a cook prepare, right, everything for dinner. They will have a cook prepare everything for dinner. All right, so in all those cases, in the three cases, I'm talking about a professional, right, like relationship between the person that is making that happen and the person that is giving that service. I don't know if you have questions so that now you can write some examples, Gladys. Let me know, please.
When we are using have, we
Mhm.
can use it to. It could be like the same as must or not, because it sounds
And
like it should. It can be the same.
yeah, in this case, actually, perhaps because it feels like obligation, but no, because you cannot replace. Here, you cannot use must. It's impossible to use must in this type of structure, right? First, because of the structure, we cannot use must. Something closer to a must, Gladys, actually, is make. This is close to must. But again, it's only because of the meaning, because in the sentence, we cannot replace this with must, right? We cannot say they must students complete the assignment, right? No. But you can say perhaps the students must complete the assignments. But in that case, if you say the students must complete the assignments, you are not mentioning another person. Okay, so must doesn't let you to use two people in like you are doing here. Okay, because must is not a verb, and must, as a result of that, is not a causative verb.
Mm.
All right, so in all the cases, we cannot replace this with must, but again, in terms of meaning, perhaps to finish, is closer to make, okay, but only in terms of how strong they are. All right, but have again, it's not like a real obligation. It's not forcing anybody. No, it's not. That's why it's not must. It's more like, look, I pay you and you do this for me. But you're not saying that. Okay, you're not saying that explicitly. You are just saying, I had a painter paint our apartment. And this can be translated in English, all right, to I paid a painter so that he can paint the house for me or the apartment for me. Okay, that's actually the meaning that you are giving when you say this sentence. That's why it's not like must, it's more again like a professional exchange. All right, and once again, make is closer to must. But that's it, Gladys. I don't know if you have any other questions or perhaps any comments before we can write the examples.
No, no, that's all right.
All right, so let's do the same, please, Gladys. For examples, present, past, future, and present perfect. All right, using have as I did in the examples, and you can use new verbs plus new objects. And remember, try to use different verbs in the four cases so that we have different ideas. All right, let's do it, please. It's a 10. All right, we're going to check perhaps 13 or 14. And with that, we're going to be finishing the class. Let's do it, please.
We'd have, right?
Yes, please. The four of them would have, in the same way that you did with make. But remember, once again, try to mention
Mm,
ideas related to service, right? To you paying someone to receive one service.
Okay. Mm. Oh my gosh. I have a question. It's difficult to do it in present. I don't know why.
Yes, to do it in present, and that's why many people also do that incorrectly. You have to think of routines, something that happens every time. Look, to make it easier, let me turn on my camera, Gladys. I always think of two things, and you have to think the same. If it's something that you repeat every time, use the simple present. For example, if you always write pay, I don't know, in my example, it can be something that I said. Okay, this one. I always pay a cook, all right, so that he can prepare dinner for me, I don't know, on the weekends. Okay, if I do that every weekend, I can say, I always have a cook prepare dinner for me on the weekends. All right, because that's routine. So if you want to write a good idea in present, think of something that you do every day or every week or every weekend. And you can say, I always, I sometimes, I often, and you give the idea in simple present, right? Now, if you want to talk about something that you are doing now, then you say present continuous, right? And you can say, now I am, in the context can be that you are paying an architect, that the example that I gave you, right? An architect, so that he can design an apartment or anything for you. So if you're doing that now at this moment, you can say, I am having an architect design the apartment for me. All right, so that's what you have to take into account, guys. To write in present, think of something that you do with a certain frequency, and then you use the simple present, I have, or think of something that you're doing at this moment, then you say, I am having. Okay, always think of those two. Perhaps that can help. If you get, well, to have more questions, please let me know.
Okay. Mm.
Also, if it's still all right difficult, start with the past. Okay, you can start with past, you can start with future, and remember that you can also work with present perfect. But remember, the present perfect is not present. The present perfect is indefinite past. All right, try to start with those three, and then if you still don't have ideas for present, we are going to do it together.
Okay. How do you say jardinero?
That's a gardener, gardener.
Gardener. Mm. Hmm. Oh my gosh, that's so difficult. Can you just try me to explain it in, like, not explain it, but some write some in Spanish?
Yes, yes, of course. Again, remember that the translation in Spanish is not precise because this structure doesn't exist in Spanish. Okay, this is only in English. Again, why? Because we don't have this in Spanish, but we have something similar. Okay, so what I'm going to write is something similar, but it's not the same. All right, so let's go there. In present, right? Right. Again, let's suppose or let's pretend that we are working with a present idea, something that I always do. So I'm going to give you my idea first in English, then in present, right? I always have a cook prepare dinner for me. All right. Now, this is present because it's a routine for me. And you can translate it like this. That's it. Okay, that's a translation. As I told you, the only possible translation is to pretend that this is make. Okay, have in this case is not possession. Have in this case is make. All right, to produce someone do something for you. All right, and again, it will be the same in past. You can say I had a cook, right, prepare dinner for me, and that would be this one. There you go. All right, so those are possible translations. That is, again, it's not exact because this is a special in English, but that's close. And again, you always need these elements, Gladys, right? You always need have, you always need an object that is a person in this case, and you always need a verb. So I'm going to take a look at the ones that you are doing. And remember the rule. It's important in the two cases, base form. Okay, no ing, no to. If you say to go, incorrect. If you say going, incorrect. The only possible way to set the verb after the person is in the base form, right? Look, had a painter paint, not to paint, not painting. Do, not doing, not to do, fix again, right? The same logic. So with that said, then you can do that here. I had, this is great, a gardener, this is your object, then base form, right? Not ing. ing is going to be incorrect. Work on, okay, my house. There you go. All right, so only be careful with this. Now remember, you don't say this, right? Cooker? No, it's one of the professions that doesn't work with er. Gladys, it's like I did here. Cook. Okay, cook is a verb, and cook is a profession. Okay, we don't say cooker, only cook. All right, so she will have a cook. Working again is incorrect, right? Work on the wedding. Now, let's have more ideas. With professionals, it doesn't matter if you repeat, but you can have perhaps a different verb. And okay, this and this. Now, perhaps I'm going to do something. I'm going to write an idea in Spanish and try to give me the idea in English. And it's going to be this one. Um, what could it be? Okay. It's similar to my example. So let's write this, Gladys. Write this Spanish idea in number 3. and you have to use the structure that we are using. Good, you're great so far. Okay, good. Only one little detail. Remember, engineering is the profession. The professional is engineer. All right, just engineer. Good. So have had is the present perfect. An engineer is the person that you are paying, right? And the sign is the action that the engineer is doing for you or has done for you, and so on. One more in present, right? And this one. What could it be?
I'm sorry. After that, is that possible? Like, can I just leave the Zoom? I need to go.
Yes, no. After this, we are going to finish. We have to
Okay.
finish. So I'm already actually. I'm going to start. I'm going to send the poll. You can be completing that. And this
Okay.
is the last one. Try to tell me this one. It can be speaking, perhaps, Gladys. So speaking or writing, this last one, and then you may leave.
I no wait. Just so you know, like, I I usually do. No, I usually
We're using here have, right? So I usually have.
have. Uh, I don't know how to say plumber.
Plumber.
Plumber. I usually have a plumber check in my bathroom.
But remember, checking incorrect.
Check my
Check my
bathroom.
battery. Exactly. Good. You only have to be careful with that, guys. Okay, so we're finishing here. Be careful. The verb after the person with these verbs is going to be in base form. Okay, so only check, go, decide, help, prepare, cook, work, and so on without ing and without to. Okay, that's the last part, Gladys. Try to review, please, this topic. If you have more questions, let me know on Monday. All right, we're going to see each other on Monday. That's it for now. Don't forget to work on your assignments, please. It's important to have everything done by Monday so that we can continue working on this new course. And that's it. Okay, I hope you have a good night. I hope you enjoy your weekend and see you Monday then.
I will do it. Thank you so much.
Great, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.